I want to welcome you to Pride and Protection, Queer Library Workers in a Polarized Cultural Landscape, a free virtual program co-sponsored by the Rainbow Roundtable and the Social Responsibilities Roundtable. The Social Responsibilities Roundtable believes that libraries and librarians must center social responsibility by recognizing and helping to solve social problems and inequities to work for the common good. I'm Nancy Hill, and I'm joined by Erica Hogan. Before I introduce the speakers, I'll go over some housekeeping. To enable captions, click More in the bottom right of the screen, then click Show Captions. Our session today will be recorded, and the recording will be available on our website within a few weeks and emailed to the registrants. Please keep your cameras off and mics off unless you are a presenter or posing a question during our Q&A portion. Please be respectful and extend care and compassion to yourself and to others. We will have time for questions and answers after all our presentations have been concluded. Please use the Q&A Zoom feature to pose questions and reserve the chat section to relay any tech issues, resource share-outs, or appreciation for our panelists. You can pop your questions into the Q&A as the presentations are rolling. You do not need to wait until they are completed with their presentation to do so. Our first session is Queer Library Workers During the Cultural Wars, presented by Alex Bishop, Student Engagement Manager at the University of South Carolina. Welcome, Alex, and I'm going to turn things over to you for now.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and thank you, Erica. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Thank you for being here. Thanks for making time. I know Summer Learning Challenge is kicked off for a lot of you, and that's no joke. So this will be a pretty interactive session with lots of reflection questions. So I'd love for y'all to put your thoughts in the chat. And Erica, do not feel pressured to read every single thing. I just am curious about like general themes that are going to come up for us. So today's presentation will include looking at a couple case studies of news articles about queerness in public libraries specifically. That's my background, so that's kind of my area of interest. And then we will wrap up with some suggestions of how to take care of your queer coworkers. I also am extremely curious to hear y'all's strategies for coping with the current political climate. I've done this presentation in some form or another before, but that was last year prior to the inauguration, let's say. Okay, so just a little bit about me. That's my cute little headshot. I am a queer disabled former public librarian. I was a teen librarian for about 7 years, and I have just recently pivoted to higher education, where I'm not even in libraries anymore. I am just like a person who programs and spends money, basically. It's pretty cool. So I have been published in South Carolina Libraries Journal last year, and then this past year in Censorship is a Drag, which is a collection of chapters from queer librarians just talking about their experiences. And actually, hi Deborah, my co-authors here. And I did publish under a pseudonym in that chapter just because I wanted the anonymity to say what I wanted to say without being in trouble with my institution at the time. I currently reside in South Carolina with my wife, our girlfriend, and our cats. Okay, now we're gonna get to the participation portion. So before we get into it, I'd like to do a really quick quiz just to see where y'all at, take some temperatures. So please put your answers in the chat. I'd love to discuss your experiences. So because there's like such a dearth of research in queer issues in library sciences, I figured this would be a good time to see where we're all at. So first question, do you work with or are you a queer library worker? And so just a quick yes or no. Probably a lot of y'all. Look at your rainbows in the chat. You're so cute.
Looks like we have a lot of yeses in both.
Yay. Yes to both. All right. I love to hear it. I feel like there's some fields that really attract a lot of queer folks, and I dare say that librarians are one of those. Next. I have how many times this year, so from January to right now, June, have you or your queer coworkers experienced a homophobic or transphobic incident? Yeah. And that can be slurs, that can be microaggressions. Yeah, specifically at the library. Yeah. Yeah. So we have some fortunate people that just said 0. Love that for you. A lot of misgenderings. Yep. Listen, as a fellow they, them, I get it. I get misgender all the time. Daily. Yep. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. I love it. Thank you all so much for your participation. I love to see it. All right. My next question for you. If you are not a queer library worker, so I'm just looking to hear from our little allies, what are your current strategies to support your queer library workers? I'm just super curious because this is a question that I get asked a lot, and I almost feel like I'm not qualified to answer it, right? Because I'm like, I only really know my situation and the waters I swim in. Ellen says open communication. Listening, Trisha says, great. Checking, stepping in, yes. Yeah. Oh, Amy, I love to hear that. I love a library design. I'm like, yeah, sharing my pronouns. Yes, I really support that, Maren. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more at the end of the presentation as well, but I love to hear y'all's that you're already like, we have already thought about this and have answers. Great. Lastly, and this can just be a yes or no. I don't want y'all to get in trouble with your institutions, but do you believe that your administration respond appropriately to these homophobic or transphobic incidents? Yeah. Yeah, that's mostly been my experience as well. Yeah.
Well, as an administrator, that's really disheartening to me, Alex.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of these case studies. But yeah. Okay. So let's keep on chugging. Here's a little screaming moo dang, just so we can all collectively release some rage. But moo dang, yeah. So how do you show up at work? This has really been the framework for like all of my scholarship. I am so interested in first of all, work as a concept, just outside of just capitalism. It's just like, how do you be a human being in the workplace? So there's a couple different ways, and we're going to explore a couple ways that like are in direct competition with each other. So first of all, this is the tweet that like I've honestly based a lot of my scholarship on. It is, I discovered it in the pandemic when we were all having a lot of weird thoughts about work and how we show up for work. So it says, writing a cover letter is just like, here is my persona. She has no mental illnesses and hates breaks. I would love to LARP as her for 40 hours a week with full pay and benefits. And for those not in the know or not nerdy enough, which is fine, I respect how cool you are. LARP is live action role play. So basically you're pretending to be this perfect person that you think your boss wants. And so here we have an opposing view with Mike Robbins. And he coined the concept of bringing your whole selves to work, which I have a bone to pick with. So basically it means showing up authentically and leading with humility and remembering they're all vulnerable, imperfect human beings doing the best we can, which like on the surface, I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you work with humans. Yes, we love to hear that. So a worksona can be defined as a person. A persona one dons when showing up at work. This naively suggests, I'm so sorry, y'all. So this naively suggests that bringing your whole self to work like is a good thing and is obviously going to fit professional standards when professionalism really hinges upon, sorry guys, I'm very in demand apparently. But for the rest of us, it's probably a quick ticket to HR, or in our cases, library workers, some sort of retaliation from patrons if we didn't put on this worksona every day. So we have this concept of visibility and how queer people show up at work form the framework for my research. Work zonas are extremely important to library workers because we have the work zona of how we show up to our managers and our coworkers. So back of house. So, library work, some of us, we only see the back of house. So you only have to put on one work zona versus other of us, we work with patrons directly. So you might don a different persona to work with those patrons. And again, even if you're like working with children, that's a whole different work zona, right? Because you have to tailor yourself to work with small children to do story time. So I would like to go through some case studies of ways the workers tried to make their work zona a little more authentic to who they are and examine the backlash that followed. So again, I'm not saying Mike Robbins' advice is bad. It's just that when you look like Mike Robbins, yeah, you can show up to work authentically. He is a white, cishet, able-bodied man. Like, yeah, he can show up authentically, but for everyone else, it's stickier than that, right? So before we proceed, I have more questions for you. So again, blow up the chat.
Alex,
Yes.
We have a question in the Q&A.
Yes.
Will
Sorry.
the slide deck be shared with the participants?
Yeah, I have no problem emailing it to, I guess April would be the person because she's the mastermind behind all this, but yeah, of course. So who gets to be their authentic self at work and who has to mask? Yeah. Oh, Melinda says, my customer service persona has a Southern accent. I'm not doing that on purpose. It's just how she talks. Listen, South Carolina, sometimes you seem a little bit more approachable, right? When you sound a little folksy. I'm like, oh yeah, the printer's over yonder. Like, I don't know. It just comes out, it makes you a little bit more appealing. Ooh, Andrea says, I don't think I could be my authentic self as an administrator. Yes, yes. This is real. It's code switching. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I deliberately use the word masking because like literally it's so similar to what people in the neurodivergent community have to do. So anyway, the neurodivergent to queer pipeline is a Venn diagram, basically. There's a lot of overlap and intersectionality there. Okay, so in what ways are work zonas heightened in library work specifically? Yeah, depends on who I'm talking to. Yeah, that's true. I feel like that's important calculation you do when you get a new job. You're like, who can I be real with? Ooh, yes. Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Yeah, and the patrons for sure. So on the flip side, the work zona can be kind of this bad thing. It's kind of a necessary evil to exist in this capitalist system. But in other ways, it does protect marginalized identity. If you have a marginalized identity, like a lot of folks said in the chat, doing that code switching, that will save your behind. That makes you continue to have a job. So we are on to our first case study. I have linked the article here at the bottom. So again, once I send out these slides, you can read the whole article. I would encourage you to, but I'll go ahead and read this excerpt I have for us. So librarians in Kansas town fired after using rainbow autism symbol in display. Again, here we have the neurodivergent aspect coming in. So 2 librarians in Sterling, Kansas, who were fired after they incorporated a rainbow image into a display, are suing, asserting that the library board is hostile to diverse points of view. The lawsuit was filed by the former librarians, Kara Wheeler and Brandy Lancaster, and 2 patrons, Samantha Corwin and Audra Asher, reported the Topeka Capital Journal. The display, erected in June, was intended to acknowledge and celebrate diversity. Among the items was a multicolored infinity symbol, which I put on the slide here, and is often used to promote awareness of autism and neurodivergent individuals. A temporary employee at the library assumed the symbol was connected to LGBT rights and complained about it. The Wheeler versus Sterling Free Public Library Board of Directors lawsuit asserts that the temporary employee, Bruce Splitter, released an anti-LGBT diatribe over the display. She continued to rant even after being told that the symbol was meant to represent the autism neurodivergent communities. Yep. I get a lot of discussion about, where you are depends on how liberal you are. Yeah, a lot of my examples do focus on more rural areas because that is my whole experience as well. So let's talk about it. The censorship is coming from inside the library. The call is coming from inside the house. Censorship of queer materials, affects other communities as well, as we saw here, and non-queer library workers. It never said anything about whether these nice librarians were, what their sexual identity was. It's just like they could have been just well-meaning allies, but just through association with this symbol and a literal rainbow, they lost their jobs. So censorships of books and people will not stop at the LGBTQIA plus community. Censors are trying to eradicate all diversity. So this story is a great example also of how youth services in particular is a high risk, high reward situation. So promoting diversity is high risk for library workers because it could mean jeopardizing their careers, but it is high reward for promoting diversity to youth. While this story didn't even deal with queerness, the employee who incited this incident was so concerned with censoring the library from inside the library that she was actively looking for anything rainbow, including the autism infinity symbol. A lot of right-wing ire is already trained on public libraries, as fascism tends to do, so they're already looking for any reason to throw a fit and defund the library. Unfortunately, queer people in libraries tend to be the lightning rod of this ire. The reasoning is gay people are allegedly trying to groom children to sexually abuse them and turn them gay, which we all know is a complete falsehood. These objections are not dissimilar from conservative rationale to ban books from public and school libraries, except now they're trying to ban the workers from their place of work. I won't go into it too much, but there's a similar push against like autism and neurodivergent acceptance and just general disability pride, I would say, because there's a lot of people who think any disability is a flaw to be avoided and fixed rather than embraced. So,
Alex,
yes.
you know how many states might have laws protecting library workers from being dismissed?
I have no idea, because this is the kind of research that like honestly isn't being done. And it's like, I don't even know if there's like a census or anything from the ALA, because I'm even interested in just like the basic, like how many library workers identify as LGBT, and stuff like that. And it's like pretty hard. There's no resources. So if you're in a researchy aspect, that might be an interesting thing to explore. So let's look at the chat real quick. So we have some nice sidebars. I love it. Oh no, Fox. Oh no. Paige says, I'm at the front desk of a conservative-ish college area, so I feel a lot of pressure to conform to work SONA. Yep. Especially in front of parents. Yep. I'm in a place now where yeah, I deal with a lot of parents and I definitely feel that. Maren said, who fired them? Not the temporary employee. Yeah, it's just the fact that like basically admin will take any rules and like use it to defend not the person being victimized, but the person who might like really rabble rouse with, Moms for Liberty and what have you. And honestly end up sacrificing diverse workers, which is a shame because like how long has librarianship been like a very homogenous space? It's like there's been this huge push to diversify libraries for the past like maybe 20 some odd years. And then it's like, this is going to be out the window if we let this behavior continue. So on to the next case study. So number 2, and again, the link to the full article is down below. I would encourage you to read it. Idaho librarian June Meissner was closing out for the day at the downtown Boise Public Library when a man approached her asking for help. As an information services librarian, answering patrons' questions is a part of Meissner's job, and serving the community is one of her favorite parts of the job. But when the man got close enough, he took a swing at me and tried to punch me in the head, says Meissner, a transgender woman. I blocked it, and he started yelling slurs and suggesting that he was going to come back and kill me. Worldwide Pride events are well underway to celebrate LGBTQ plus culture and rights, but it is coming at a time when people who identify as LGBTQ plus say they are facing increasing difficulties at work, ranging from being repeatedly misgendered to physically assaulted. Gender nonconforming library workers in particular, like Meissner, are also grappling with growing calls for book bans across the US, with books about gender identity, sexual orientation, and race topping the list of most criticized titles and making the attacks all the more personal. So here's a situation where, unfortunately, a visibly trans librarian was assaulted at work by a patron. Luckily, it doesn't sound like she came to any harm, but I'm still like, that is like, I think all of our worst nightmares, to be assaulted at work, if we haven't already been assaulted at work, because that surely does happen. So by showing up to work as herself and refusing to mask her identity as a trans woman, she was seen as a target. Luckily, she was able to defend herself and didn't come to harm, but this article did not mention Boise Public Library's response to the attack. Like, there was no press statement, nothing. So who knows if that patron can come back to the library, or what they did to help out Meissner. So let's talk about it. So here we see hatred for LGBTQIA people in libraries escalate to violence targeted at staff. So this act of violence correlates with the rise in hatred towards, I would say, transgender women specifically. There, maybe I'm biased because my partners are both trans women, so I see the impact on them specifically. But I feel like a lot of ire against the LGBT community has been focused on trans women specifically. So what are your thoughts on this attack on Meissner? And I'll go to the chat and take a look. Yeah, a lot of talk about geography. Yep. Ooh, Adrian says, we've been forced to stop all displays in the kids' room for safety, quote unquote. Yeah, something I thought about putting in this presentation, but I didn't want to call them out, but I will now. But there is a library system. I've never been affiliated with them, but they are pretty major in my state, and they don't allow any displays, period. Unless it is like for a federal holiday, you are not allowed to put a display up. And that is why, like, yeah, like they that was their way of responding to pride displays. Yeah, no amount of being careful will keep us from attacks. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about it, but also like, I also don't want to take this position of being like a victim blamer, because no one getting attacked is their fault, like ever. Like, it certainly is just something to be aware of. Yeah, that guy came in looking for trouble. Yep, sometimes they do. Escalate to violence when confronted with something that doesn't fit in their norm. Yep. Absolutely. All right, we'll keep on trucking. Oh, yes. Ooh, Puck says, we've asked our library administration to have a proactive plan for protecting trans staff, and the response has been pretty slow. Yes, I would like to piggyback on that and say that I've also asked for that. Like, for I think 2019, I tried to do a pride club for my library. And when I tried to like ramp it up again after the pandemic, I was like, what are our plans? Because these Proud Boys are showing up with guns to whatever is LGBT. And they're like, well, my admin's response was like, well, if they break the code of conduct, we'll deal with it then. But I'm like, like the code of conduct like is pretty far reaching. Like, there's a lot of blanket stuff that's like, don't be hateful or whatever. But you need to have specific proactive plans. Like, I completely agree. Because you can't just sit around and be like, well, if they hit you, we'll respond. It's like, that sucks. And yeah, anyway, that doesn't help anybody. Okay, so now we're getting into the ways that we can help queer staff. So I jokingly call this taking care of your gays. So first thing, that was a perfect transition. So more inclusive policies and procedures. I'm really stoked that we do have maybe some managers and admin in this call, because yeah, like I feel like a lot of times when I talk about diversity or LGBT protections, or just responding to anything that's going on in the culture wars, it is all frontline staff, which is lovely, but I'm like, people with power need to be paying attention to this. So one thing that we could is fairly simple. It could be a little divisive now, but what isn't divisive about libraries these days? So start this practice from the hiring stage. So integrating LGBTQIA plus inclusive language from candidates and new hires' first interactions with your library system. Um, I feel like when this first was like brought to my attention to do this, it would seem kind of wild and crazy, but I've since like been on the receiving end of it when I was hired at my current university, and I was like, you want to know my pronouns? Like it was so charming, and I felt so included, like from the jump. So, and also make these policies have teeth. Like you can't just like put something on there and then not enforce it. I hated that when I worked in libraries. It's like, if we're going to do something, let's do it, and also consider who is this rule like, helping, who is it actively taking care of? Because sometimes people will bend these rules to be like, well, technically they're not violating the code of conduct because X, Y, and Z. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, if it comes down to picking the patron or your worker, I just feel like you should side with your worker. That's just me though. And additionally, that's also what like freaking ALA says. So this is some guidance like directly from the American Library Association. So normalize staff introducing themselves with their pronouns, hold EDI training regularly, not reactively. Like we're not going to hold an EDI training only after someone takes a swing at a librarian. We're reviewing library policies for transgender inclusion. And I would like that to go a step farther. I've seen library systems go through it and be like, well, we're going to change all of the pronouns in our library policies to they and them so that it's not gendered. And I'm like, okay, sure. But like, I think we have bigger problems than, just using neutral language in the like staff handbook or what have you. It's like, let's talk about gender neutral bathrooms or, stuff like that. It's just like, come on now. Role play situations at training so staff are practiced at handling difficult situations. I'm sure we have all been yelled at by a patron at one time or another, but sometimes when it is like, it's not just like you're stealing the information from my copies and that violates HIPAA. It's like that's kind of impersonal. But if you're going and saying like you and your identity are offensive to me as a patron, that hits different and that can affect your response to that situation. And so having these practice situations where you get a little desensitized to the thought of someone being hateful towards you, like you're ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, and at a crisis, you're going to fall to the level of your training. So you need to have training. Refrain from using gendered language. That one's really easy. I think my biggest thing is I call everyone friend. I've gotten some pushback from that, but I'm like, especially in a public library where I work in youth services, greeting people at the desk like, hey friend, how you doing? Like that's pretty innocuous to me, but whatever. Next up, we have increased allyship. So allies should make an effort to be in tune with the political climate facing the LGBT community. So again, like I said, it's like just know what your workers and coworkers are going through. Like read the news. And also believe your LGBT coworkers. I know that seems a little reductive to say, but I've heard from workers who are like basically sexually harassed by patrons, and they'll go tell their coworker about it, and they're like, well, it doesn't count because you're gay. Like that, it was a man harassing you, and you're a woman and who only likes women. And it's like, so it doesn't count. And it's like, that's not true. It doesn't make it any less harassment based on your sexual orientation. Anyway, sorry, y'all got me going. Be trauma informed. This is something that I feel deeply. It's like, especially right now, it's like, your coworkers who are transgender, it's like every day they're like, am I going to be able to get healthcare? Like, I know Texas, you can't get any HRT. It is like, I don't know what the penalizing is, but like, you can't get it. And we're honestly here quite scared that South Carolina is going to go the same way because South Carolina very often follows Texas. Immediate action that y'all can take. So management should be allies. That would be great. Okay, this is something else. For the love of God, do not do Harry Potter programs. Don't do it. I've put a citation here that tells you exactly why, but J.K. Rowling is still alive and actively donating her funds from Harry Potter to anti-transgender organizations that like are overturning transgender rights in UK. I just want to put that out there. I've definitely have put on a Harry Potter program like pre 2020, in the before times. And yeah, it was probably like my most attended program that wasn't story time, but it's like, yeah, what is the cost here, especially when I have these transgender kids coming? It's like I'm saying I value statistics more than like their literal feelings and well-being. Next, we have stick up for your coworkers all the time, misgendering to unconscious bias, all that good stuff. Michael says he got to to weed the Harry Potter movies from the queer library. Yes, I once weeded some copies of Birth of a Nation, and I was like, oh, it's such a rush. Like,
April, we have a question.
okay, sorry, I'm
As an
trying to finish
interior
up.
designer, I try to design spaces that are inclusive to all people as
Yeah.
they can be. Can
Yeah.
you share ways we can design libraries that are specifically welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community? That means for staff and the community members that come to the library.
Yeah. So honestly, from a design perspective, I think the bathroom is really important. Like, I'm sure you've already have this on your radar, but just like having the wayfinding be like completely transparent, because that was something I really had to constantly be like, the bathroom's over there. But also having non-gendered bathrooms, and usually you can do that by having a single stall. Like my library just had like a family bathroom, and that was honestly like our LGBT bathroom basically, because it was just a single stall. Anyone can use it. But maybe I'll have another one. Yep. Menstrual products, yes, and baby tables in every bathroom. Thank you, Deb. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Those are all my thoughts. I feel like whenever I think about library design, I'm thinking about things that I can change and not like construction. So yeah, are great for people with disabilities too. Okay, while I'm talking to somebody who designed for the library, I definitely think that libraries should have sharps containers in the bathrooms. I'm a type 1 diabetic. It's like I would love a sharps container at work. I like fully have like a milk jug and I would like go out through the children's section to the gender neutral bathroom to change my insulin. I think a lot of people don't put them out because people are very skeeved out by needles. Which, okay, but it's a fact of life for a lot of us. But yeah, but like, there's a lot of people who are like, well, my kid needs it, or, I think people really jump to intravenous drug use when we hear sharps containers. But which honestly, yeah, they should have somewhere to put their sharps. It's kind of a good for the community. But anyway. Okay, do I have another slide? Let me remember. Oh, okay. Y'all have any questions for me? Any more questions? Here's my darling cat, Tessie. Sorry, I'm having such a good time chatting with y'all. I love it. Yes, this is my baby. She's 14 years old and she has no teeth. I will give her scratches and love every day. She has to cuddle with me for at least like an hour a day while I watch TV or she's upset.
Alex, we've got one says, if we don't have other questions at the end.
Yeah.
I am agender and queer, but can pass because I'm married to the opposite sex. Part of me feels that I need to be visual with my queerness for those around me, i.e. patrons, but the self-preservation part of me wants to benefit from the passing. What would be your recommendation to navigate this?
That feels like I wrote that question to me. Like, I'm non-binary. I feel most comfortable when I am femme and I'm AFAB. So like, yeah, like you were saying, it's like it often flies under the radar. I don't know. I don't think you're owed a presentation, like a gender presentation to anybody. You dress how you want to dress. I kind of think if people misgender you, that's a them problem. I know that the like urge is to be like, well, I wasn't looking a certain way, so that's why they did that to me. Because that's something I hear a lot in the transgender community is just like, well, the reason they yelled at me in the bathrooms because I wasn't looking like a girl. And it's like, no, there's no excuse. So I would say just keep doing you. Sorry, I know that's not very actionable. That's maybe not the radical solution you wanted, but yeah, like I would just say you do you. And if people misgender you, that's a them problem. And I think it's kind of comes up to you whether you want to be assertive in how you say like, oh, actually I use they them, or get some people on your side who will do that for you. I feel like in my past couple jobs since I've come out as non-binary, I've had coworkers who will do it for me. And I'm like, thank you. That kind of makes it a little less awkward for me. So yeah, take notes, people who are cisgender, that is a helpful thing to do. Yeah.
At my library, we all have our pronouns on our name tags.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for each other, but it's also, lets our patrons know that it's
Yeah.
important we use the right pronouns. So that's a way to do things too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the library system in where I currently live, they're fixing to do that. And right now, it's like something that obviously has been in the works for ages just because bureaucracy moves slow. But right now, when there's been so much pushback about pronouns, I'm also kind of worried if we're going to see an uptick in retaliation, basically. But it's going to happen anyway. So I don't know. That's kind of what I wish a lot of libraries would do is like, you just need to do it and people will get used to it for the most part. I see it even happen in South Carolina. It's like there might be some pushback at the beginning, but then they get used to it. Just people don't like change.
Yeah.
Lauren says, what are your recommendations for what you brings concerns to managers and we get pushed and punished and shut down? Should we be reaching out to ALA or other orgs? Great question. Again, I've totally been there. It's really sticky. Yeah, because it's like you don't want to do anything that's going to put your job in jeopardy, like go to the press, right? I will say that you might want to link up with your local ACLU because sometimes they will come in and say something. I know our local ACLU guy like comes to our state library conference a lot and he's like, please let me know. Like, yeah. So that is maybe mine. Yeah, you should maybe reach out to ALA. Like, I'm not sure of what processes they currently have in place for workplace incidents like that. Or I'm curious if has your HR said something weird too? Like, have you gone above your manager to HR?
Hey, someone asked, does
Yeah.
anyone have any tips for managing single stall bathroom drug use concern? That's been the major pushback from leadership at my library with single stall public restrooms. Someone's smoking or contaminating the library with drugs
Yeah.
or other safety concerns. We currently have no public gender neutral bathrooms for this reason.
Honestly, in my opinion, people are going to do drugs at the library regardless of what amenities you have, like a syringe disposal system. Like I see that a lot here because we have the similar thing where we have a couple or at the county I live in now, they have like a couple library bathrooms that are gender neutral, but you have to go to a staff person to get them to let you in. Um, because they don't want people, yeah, goofing around in there doing something that is illegal. Um, yeah, so I would say just again, just do it. Like, yeah, because like it's pretty well documented. Yeah, Liz says people smoke in multi-cell bathrooms too. Yeah, I think again, it's a flimsy excuse because like it's pretty well documented that people are gonna do like drugs anyway. It's not gonna encourage drug use, basically. Yeah.
Okay, another participant says, I do agree with no Harry Potter programs, especially because programming is different and often staff chosen. Though I
Yeah.
feel like I have this conversation with my MLIS program a lot without queer folks. But where is the line with having the books on the shelf?
Yes. I kind of think that the library is the perfect person to have the perfect entity to have those Harry Potter books because they're not buying it from J.K. Rowling. They're going to the library to do it. Like I don't love Harry Potter. I don't know if y'all knew, but she writes under the name Robert Galbraith. That's her adult mystery series. And with books like that, I'm always like, it is my professional duty to carry these books, but I don't have to platform it. Like, for instance, books like I don't love, like the medical medium is one that gets me a lot. It's like a guy who's like, I'm a psychic and I could tell you that you need to have drink celery juice. I'm like, okay, I'm required to have this on my table because someone does want this, but it can be spine out. It doesn't need to be face out. That's kind of where I come down on it. Or sometimes I'll keep it in the back. Like, be like, it's still available, but it's just in the workroom, because we want to make room for, everything else.
Okay. For those of us who live in strong anti-LGBTQ plus districts with laws or policies that limit us, what are subtle ways besides pronouns that we can help others find us? Queer patrons didn't disappear because we can't have displays anymore.
Yeah. I would say I think queer signaling goes a long way. It's a lot of if you know, you know, and you can do that, kind of obvious ways like having like your nails cut a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Stephanie says pin on the name badge of a flag. Yep. Yeah, rainbow bracelet. I was gonna say one of my kids made me one on a rainbow loom that's like the non-binary flags, colors. So stuff like that. Or here, I have a really good example actually right here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I have a butterfly with the lesbian flag on it. So if you didn't know, it's just a butterfly. But if you know, you know. So I think there's a lot of signaling, that can be fly under the radar of your admin, but signal to the people, that you need to help, that you're there.
So speaking of flying under the radar of your admin, do you have any suggestions for working with or around library administrators? Oh, question just disappeared from my slide.
Uh-oh.
Who are resistant to change, fearful of backlash, and so participate in chilling representation programs, etc., or ignorant about issues?
Honestly, I think it might go a long way to point towards professional orgs like the ALA, assuming that your library is still affiliated with ALA, because I know a lot of them have been parting from it, and being like, well, this is the professional guidance, like I think presenting it from some place that's not you, do you know what I mean? Cite your source. It's like, hey, this isn't some kooky idea that I think we should do because I'm a liberal snowflake. It is like, hey, this is what our like professional org thinks we should do. Same thing where, if you come back from this presentation, it'd be like, oh, I actually went to a PD today and they had some interesting ideas. Like, I feel like that's how I would frame it. I don't know how effective that would be. That maybe is contingent upon how much your admin values guidance from outside the library, from outside your library system. But yeah.
That's it for questions in the
Okay.
Q&A. Does anyone else have any questions?
Ooh, sorry. Anne-Marie said something I would love to talk about a little bit. Yeah, so it says these are good pointers, but it does make me sad that we're at this place again where people have to be under the radar. Yes, like absolutely, completely agree. A lot of people are kind of low-key going back in the closet because of this, right? Or detransitioning either by choice or by force. It's just, I mean, these things come in cycles. But the good news is, especially for the LGBT community, we've been there, done that. And I honestly find looking at LGBT history informative for how to move forward. I would really encourage y'all to check out the Rainbow Roundtable in its current iteration, but also, I don't know if y'all knew, but it is the oldest gay professional organization in the country. Like librarians were doing that. One of my favorite pictures of all time is that committee. Back then it was called like the Gay Liberation Task Force, but they would go to ALA and have like a hug a homosexual book, kiss a homosexual. And so they were just like gay kissing at ALA. And I'm like, this is amazing. Sorry, I said Rainbow Roundtable, and that's through ALA. A lot of like state library associations also have committees on the state library group. But yeah. Ooh, Adrian, you asked a question about teens. I want to talk about it. I can't tell you how hard it's been to tell the teens that they need to be careful. They're so beautifully open and wanting to be themselves. They don't know how to be under the radar. Yes, and I feel like sometimes they have a good gauge of where their parent is, you know, if their parent is gonna let them take home a book where people or of the same sex are like holding hands. But a lot of publishers, I think, have picked up on that and like are publishing teen queer romance that is like subtle on the cover. So one of my favorite books, The Henna Wars by Adiba Jagadar. Love that book. But it is just like two girls just kind of, you know, looking at each other like this. And so it doesn't look gay at all. And I didn't know until I read it. Yeah, a little ALA. I thought,
Do you have any suggestions for working with or around library administrators who are resistant to change? Oh, we asked that. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're good. I thought I didn't answer it good enough. You're like, I'm gonna
You
give it
did.
again.
Forgive me. Oh,
Well, if we have nothing else, I'll show my last slide, which is just this is how you can get at me. It's just my Gmail. I didn't want to put my like current work email since I'm not with the library anymore. But if you want to talk, hit me up. If y'all want to make a cool radical Discord signal group, let me know. I'll join it. I would really encourage y'all to find like queer joy and wherever you can find it. So go to a pride event this month, go to a queer weird movie, join a weird Discord full of all the trans folks in your super southern state. That's been a real source of joy. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate y'all so
well,
much for talking to me. Yes. Okay. But yeah.
thank you. Thank you to Alex and to all of those who came out for this session. Thanks also to the Social Responsibilities Roundtable and the Rainbow Roundtable members for handling tech and chat. SRRT and RRT are committed to ensuring that all of our programs are diverse, inclusive, and free for attendees. To do so, we rely on support from ALA, membership, and direct donations. You can help champion our roundtable's mission by donating at the link provided, and I'm assuming April is going to put that in the chat, or joining SRRT or the Rainbow Roundtable. Our next session is outreach for LGBTQIA plus patrons during the culture wars, which will start in 15 minutes at 1:45 p.m. Central Time. I hope that you can join us. Thank you. This has been a pleasure.